All right, let's get right into it. We're about to tear down some of the most comfortable lies we tell ourselves. You know, the lies about kindness, about being lazy, and about what it actually takes to get ahead. This is all about uncovering the power that's been hiding inside you all along. I mean, really let that sink in for a moment. We're all taught that being good, being the person who's always there for everyone, is a badge of honor. But what if, and this is a big what if it's the very thing that's caging you? What if it's a trap? So, let's start with that prison. This whole idea that you have to be constantly accessible, always on call. Here's the kicker. This isn't really about being nice. It's about being predictable. And in this world, if you're predictable, you're controllable.
This really shows the massive gap between what we're told and what sharp thinkers like Machiavelli knew centuries ago. The lie is, hey, just be kind and the world will be kind back to you. But the brutal truth? Blind, unchecked kindness just paints a target on your back. You become an emotional doormat for other people to wipe their feet on.
And being that doormat costs you something precious. The psychologist Carl Jung called it your psychic energy. Think of it like a battery, right? You only have so much charge for the day. And every time you react, every time you over-explain yourself, every time you bite your tongue just to keep a fake peace, you're draining that battery. You're not the one in the driver's seat. You're just getting taken for a ride. So how in the world do you break this cycle? How do you start protecting that energy? Well, the first tool isn't what you'd expect. It's not about being loud or getting aggressive. No, it's actually the total opposite. It's called the mirror of silence. And here's how it works. When you just stop giving people the reaction they're trying to bait out of you, you completely disrupt their whole game. You take the remote control right out of their hands. Your silence, it becomes a mirror. It forces them to deal with their own issues. And just like that, you stop being a puppet and you get your power back. Okay, we've talked about the outside world. Now, let's turn the focus inward. Let's talk about the story you tell yourself. You know the one I'm talking about? The one that says, I'm just lazy. Here is another one of those big, comfortable lies we swallow whole. That procrastination is some kind of moral failing. It's not. The biological truth is that your brain is an efficiency machine. It evolved to survive right now, not to worry about your 5-year plan. It is hardwired to save energy, and that means it will always choose the easy thing over the hard thing. This default setting is what neuroscientists call cognitive ease. And look, trying to fight millions of years of evolution with some cheesy motivational quote, it's a battle you're going to lose every single time. So what's the takeaway? You can't win by force. You have to be smarter. You have to win by design. And this right here brings us to the real heart of the issue, the true villain in your story. And it's not a lack of willpower. It's your ego and its deep, deep fear of you actually changing. Now, this might be a little tough to hear, but just sit with it for a second. You think you're afraid of failing, right? We all do. But what if the thing that really terrifies you is succeeding? What if you're more afraid of the person you'd have to become if you actually got what you wanted? Jung called this social mask the persona. It's the character you play to feel safe and accepted. You know, the nice guy, or the struggling artist, or the funny one who can't get their life together. That story, even if you don't like it, feels familiar. It feels safe. And in a weird way, it protects you from the pressure of ever having to actually perform. So the moment you get close to a real breakthrough, your ego freaks out. It sees success as the death of that old, comfortable character. And that is why we self-sabotage. It's not laziness. It's a defense mechanism trying to keep you stuck in a place it already knows. Okay, so if being a passive doormat is out and just trying to brute force your way through life is also out, then what's the alternative? Well, Machiavelli gave us this amazing mental model for how to move through the world with both brains and brawn. See, you have to be both. The fox is your social intelligence. It's the part of you that's clever, that observes, that sees the traps before you walk into them. But then you also need the lion. That's your strength, your presence. It's the part that sets firm, non-negotiable boundaries. It's the power to say no and have everyone in the room feel it. So how do you actually do this? You embody the fox by watching more and talking less. You embody the lion by making your withdrawal, your absence, a clear and firm boundary. You start being consciously unavailable to guard your energy. And you have to understand this. Respect isn't just handed to nice people. It is earned by people who demonstrate their respect themselves first. So this all leads us to the final and I think most important part.
How do you take all of these ideas and become the architect of your own life, instead of just reacting to everyone else's?
It's really a three-step process. First, you just got to get honest and recognize when your ego is in the driver's seat, when you're just acting to please people. Second, you create a little space. Instead of thinking, I am a failure, you just observe it. There is a feeling of fear in me. See that little shift? It gives you room to breathe. And finally, you design your system. Stop trying to force good habits and start making them the easiest possible option.
Now, this concept is a complete game changer. Your identity isn't set in stone. It's built by the tiny, consistent actions you take every single day. Think of it like this. Every choice you make is a vote for the person you want to be. When you pick up a book instead of your phone, that's one vote. When you go to the gym instead of staying on the couch, that's another vote. You are literally voting your future self into existence.
And this is how you win by design, not by force. It's about choice architecture. Want to drink more water? Put a huge bottle on your desk where you can't miss it. It's habit stacking. Want to meditate? Just do it for 2 minutes right after your morning coffee. You make your goals obvious, attractive, and so ridiculously easy you can't say no. That's how you finally work with your brain, not against it.
So I'll leave you with this one question to really chew on. What's that safe story you've been living inside? That comfortable, familiar prison that keeps you feeling secure but also keeps you small? What is that story for you? And are you finally ready to burn it to the